Welcome to the Fantasy Champions Fantasy Football Podcast. Here's your host, Morgan Colby and Rick Lemon.
What's poppin'? Fantasy Champs.
What's going on?
Welcome to Fantasy Champions Fantasy Football Podcast. Mine is Morgan Colby. I got Rick Lemon with me as always. It's Papa Ricardo.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
It is. Like, I didn't think it could happen this quickly. The last week of the regular season for fantasy football.
Yep, it's here.
We started this progressional journey in January last year. I don't even know what we got right and wrong, to be completely honest with you.
Neither.
All the players we told you would break out tore their ACL in training camp. So
I know there's a few that I know I missed, and a few I know I got right.
One thing's for sure, Cam Akers would have been legitimately amazing with the fact that Darrell Henderson and Sony Michel are getting like 19 points. Disgusting. Yeah. But anyway. It can't believe it's almost over, the fantasy season. That means that unless you really, I don't even know if we're gonna go into week 18. We might just start doing like sleeper doesn't even allow you to go that far.
Good, they shouldn't.
Like I looked at it
today,
today
like
and
a
I'm
rest week for half the league.
I couldn't set my thing for week 18. I was like, did they just forget or?
That's actually kind of funny. So
anyway. If you're in a sleeper league, you can't even have a Week 18 championship, which gets rid of like half of you. So I don't even know if we'll do Week 18 content because we will provide something related to the off season, recapping the season, such stuff, but probably not related to championship games. You can go elsewhere for that.
Maybe like a season recap or something.
Yeah, but either way. But it's week 14. You got 3 weeks left. 3 weeks of fantasy football left. Championship runs are coming, or 4 weeks, I should say, with week 14. But championship runs are about to happen now. And so we're going to give you some content this week to prepare you for week 14. As always, today we're going to do a waiver wire episode and go through all of the guys we think you should pick up for this week. There are some good ones, especially at the quarterback position, surprisingly, or maybe just one quarterback.
Yeah.
So, before we jump into any of that, check out our website, fantasychampions.com. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Just type our name in. You'll find us on there. If you're watching on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or any other podcast platform, please leave a review. Share this podcast with your friends. If you're watching on YouTube, click the bell for notice, subscribe, like, and comment down below. Are you ready to do the waiver wire, Rick?
Yeah.
How are you doing, by the way? You doing good?
I'm doing all right. How about you?
He's doing all right, guys. We got on the Zoom call, and he was counting his fat wads of cash.
I'm just too rich, bro.
I'm too rich, bro. But anyway, so we're going to start with the quarterback position, as we always do. And I don't know, Rick, there's one guy that we have on this list. We'll talk about him last. It's the number one guy.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
But besides that guy, is there anyone that you are trying to pick up for the coming weeks as we enter the fantasy playoffs?
Yeah, on this list, it's kind of tough. Cam Newton scares me. He feels like he's a player that, sure, he could theoretically get you like 15 points in a given week. Like I think he in his first start got 26. And then the next week against Miami, he got 8. He has Atlanta this week, so it's a great matchup. I think it's probably not a bad idea to stream him, but stream him at your own risk because he could just as easily have a horrible game. I think he will bounce back, though. So if you want to stream Cam Newton, I think he'd probably be number one on my list. Justin Fields is definitely an interesting one. I think his availability right now is uncertain, but the last couple weeks against Pittsburgh and San Francisco, he was really starting to hit his stride, especially fantasy wise. And like like we said, I think in the beginning of the year that we could see him having a great playoff run, partly due to his schedule and that he's hopefully, more comfortable in the NFL.
The fact that he's missed 1,400 weeks because of injury sucks.
Yeah, he's missed a couple weeks. He hasn't started a ton. So we don't even know if he's going to play this week. And it's against Green Bay, so it's probably not the best matchup, but maybe for the playoffs, you could add him and keep an eye on that. What do you think of our boy Gardner Minshew, bro? Finally got an opportunity. Played well.
So, love Gardner.
Did you see the video of him celebrating with his dad?
Yeah, it was funny. It was awesome, funny, and weird.
Yeah, I thought it was cool.
Gardner Minshew, man, he is. Somebody tweeted he's the new Nick Foles. So
I like him more than Nick Foles, but that might just be because I'm a.
Oh yeah. So he's had some. You talk about Gardner Minshew in the context of like he has some really good games, and last season, I don't know if you want to blame last season on him, or the times that he wasn't playing well, or if you want to blame it on Jacksonville's inability to do anything. Because I mean, last year's numbers, he had some bad numbers, but I think, and there were some games where he threw some interceptions, but overall, I mean, he started 8, 9, 10 games, and he only threw about 5 picks in those games. So it's not like he was like chucking it all over the yard and throwing picks.
No.
And he consistently, there was a stretch of games last year where he was throwing for like 300 to 350 yards and 2 touchdowns a game, and he has this ability where he can do some really good things. But I think somebody should give him an opportunity. I don't think it's going to be the Eagles, and the issue is more specifically related to the post-game press conference with Nick Sirianni, where he's not been definitive about anything since he stepped into Philly. They ask him questions, and he goes, "We'll think about it." And I'm like, okay, all right, thanks for the info.
Yeah.
And this one thing they said, is Jalen Hurts the starter? And he said, yes, he's the starter. So
yeah, he doesn't want to cause any noise in the locker room anyway.
Gardner Minshew is not going to be the starting quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles, though his truthers would stand on a table for him.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't pick him up unless Hurts comes out this week and because you also have to factor in who Gardner Minshew is playing this week, the New York Jets.
Yeah, true. Very true.
That's one thing. And he against the Jets, he didn't even have a great fantasy performance. So I will say Hurts is their guy. If he goes out and he tosses 5 interceptions and doesn't throw a touchdown.
I was going to say his leash, though. I agree with you.
I think it's shortened.
Hurts is still the guy, but if he has another game like he did against the Giants, there's going to be a lot of noise. That's all I'm going to say.
Yep. So I wouldn't pick up Minshew, but keep an eye on the situation in Philly. It's too. I see the stupid part for the Eagles is that they're kind of Washington is 6-6 and they're in the playoffs in the NFC, and they're what 5-7 or 6-6 too.
They honestly, it's so good. The NFC is so disgusting. There's 5 really good teams in the NFC,
and then everyone else blows.
Everybody else blows. Yeah. So there's a legit chance the Eagles could sneak in the playoffs, the Washington football team.
So the question is,
Vikings.
Who do they believe they can win with? Because right now you got Hurts is their guy, and they want to ride him out rest of the season. And if they sucked, I would just say keep starting Hurts and see what you get. But with Minshew, if he's winning games.
Their last 4 games of the season, interestingly, is all division games. So they're all big games. They play Washington, the Cowboys. I think they're going to ride with Hurts, but like I said, short leash.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be worried about Gardner Minshew. On your point about Justin Fields, I agree. I think you should snag Justin Fields. The playoff schedule is mediocre. Hard game. There's a hard game in the middle there. It's like a mixture. It's like a random shot in the dark kind of deal.
Yeah.
Minnesota, Giants, Seattle. Could go either way. He could have some good fantasy performances. I think the big thing for him is his rushing. So I'd rather, obviously see how he does against Green Bay this week. You can pick him up. He's probably going to be free. But if you have the space, pick him up. But I would say just wait to see what happens with Fields before you decide to trot him in your starting lineup. Just throw him out there.
Yeah. That's fair.
And then as far as other people are concerned, I don't really see anybody that I would want besides the one guy we're going to talk about.
Yeah, I was going to say, we haven't talked about the number one guy.
Teddy Bridgewater against KC this week had 14 points, did not have a good game.
Did you watch that game?
I did watch the whole thing. I
tweeted this, but I just wanted to bring it up on the show. How many interceptions? I mean, how many passes? He threw 2 interceptions. Well, how many passes does he throw? And it's like
they were almost picks.
Dropped, intercepted. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like literally he could have had like 5 or 6 interceptions.
And I'm sitting there going like, what the frick? He's not that bad either. And
his stats aren't that bad, but dude, I watched
some Denver games, and he has some games.
He has
where
good
he
moments.
Really good.
He has good moments.
But that's Brent Bridgewater's whole career. So imagine Denver with a quarterback. That's what we always say.
Would you rather Minshew or Teddy Bridgewater? I mean, I think they're kind of.
I can imagine Denver with a quarterback. It was Peyton Manning 5 years ago.
True. It went pretty well.
Hey, it's going to be an interesting offseason, though. Lots of quarterbacks on the market.
Honestly,
Russell
Denver,
Wilson,
I feel like
Aaron
they
Rodgers.
are like.
I can see what's his name move because he
Deshaun Watson.
The contract. Jimmy Garoppolo.
Oh yeah.
Deshaun Watson. Yep. So a lot of moving pieces at the quarterback position this year.
Denver needs one though. Like that team,
they
could win a. They could honestly.
I would dump 5 first-round picks for Deshaun Watson.
Aaron Rodgers or Deshaun Watson. Yeah.
I would. They need one for youth. I would drop 3 for Rodgers.
Yeah, he's old.
Rodgers old. But anyway, yeah. So I wouldn't pick up Bridgewater. And outside of that, I think there's not a lot of quarterbacks that are going to be streamable options for you besides the man you should be picking up this week 100%. And I would even put waiver budget on him, and it's Taysom Hill. He blows. He's not good. 19 completions on 41 attempts. He was sub 50% completion percentage.
The first 3 quarters, he threw like 1 interception. That was not his fault. And then
the fourth quarter he puked.
He played pretty good. Yeah, in the fourth quarter, he threw back-to-back pick sixes in like the last 2 minutes of the game.
Oh, okay. All right. So he didn't do as bad as the stat sheet shows.
But he also had a trash time touchdown. He only had 1. It was really like
so
one
it would have been
touchdown.
1 if you ended the game in the third quarter. It would have been 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions.
Yeah.
So
the first 2 picks.
I think the thing that's gross about it, and the efficiency is huge. I mean, 264 yards on 19 attempts. What is that? 20 yards in.
Yeah.
What the crap? That is. It's not 20 yards in an attempt. I'm an idiot. It's like. I don't know. I don't even want to do the math. You do the math. But 19 for 41 is not good. Like, I'm just removing the interceptions from the equation.
Awful.
Like,
honestly, kind of
that's sub 50% completion percentage.
Not that Taysom Hill is a good quarterback, but it kind of makes me more impressed with what Winston was able to do in the beginning of the year because that team has no weapons. Like
if he blows, if Taysom blows, they're going to be done with him real quick.
Yeah, well, they'll be done with him at quarterback, but
that he needs to let go of this whole fetish he has with Taysom.
He hurdled a guy on one of his runs. Like he actually is. Like they should just put him at like tight end or something and use him like Jonnu Smith.
No, they don't. I will say this because we got to move on to the next positions, but. Taysom Hill is interesting from a fantasy perspective because I don't know if they would go back to Trevor Siemian. I don't know.
Taysom Hill would have to play really bad.
Taysom Hill would have to continually play really bad. But we know that head coach Sean Payton loves Taysom Hill, and I don't know what he sees in the kid, but he loves him. So I think he's going to give him a majority of the opportunity to prove himself. And if he craps all over himself, then obviously they'll switch the quarterback out. And you want to hope that doesn't happen on a game that you try to start him in. Right. If that happens, then you're screwed. But there's no one else left in New Orleans besides Siemian. And I don't even know that they want. If they made the switch, there's only like 5 weeks left in the season. So it's like, do you even want to switch back? Is it worth it to switch back?
Yeah.
Why don't you just see what you got in Taysom? and then make the decision in the offseason whether you want to go with Jameis or Taysom in the future, which I think they should go with Jameis because he's the younger, better quarterback. That would be a smart decision. But Taysom Hill had 11 rushes for 101 yards. Like Rick said, he has some moves. He's got some moves he can.
Yeah,
use.
He's probably honestly is the best running white quarterback I've ever seen in my life. Like he looks like I won't say he's not Lamar level, but he's actually really good at running. Like he's fast and he's obviously strong. So,
but that he had 4 picks in the game, 4 total interceptions, and still had 26 fantasy points.
Yeah.
So, I would 100% pick this guy up for fantasy.
He's like a low end QB1 every week. I feel like. Yeah,
and going up against the Jets next week. Week 15 is going to be tougher.
Start.
It's
that's tough.
Like I have Jalen Hurts on a bye. I'm going to start Taysom Hill this week. Just so you know, I'm putting my own stake.
There you go.
I'm throwing Taysom Hill in my starting lineup. Because Tua is also on a bye. So I got 3 quarterbacks in my redraft home league right now. There's no one left on the waiver wire.
Gosh.
I'm like, what do I do? Just stock players away from other individuals. That's what I'm doing right now. But anyway, Taysom's playing the Jets. He's got a good matchup this week. Tampa's a little bit tougher, but then he has Miami and then Carolina for the championship weeks, that's a very tough game. So I think you can get something out of him for the next 2 or 3 weeks. And then, I wouldn't start him against Carolina unless he's playing lights out, and makes you think twice, but we'll talk about that week 17.
Mm-hmm.
But go do Taysom. If you have any waiver budget left, how much you putting on him?
Probably like $10, unless you really need a quarterback.
Okay. All right.
Maybe like 20.
Let's jump to the running back position because I feel like the rest of this is going to be interesting to talk about. It's going to be crap. Tevin Coleman did he get hurt? What the hell happened with Coleman?
No. Well, Michael Carter's been on a bye, and Tevin Coleman's just been playing a top running back role. He hasn't exactly. He's been good. He hasn't scored a touchdown, but he's scoring like 8-9 fantasy points. He's not like lighting the lamp.
So basically, what he was when he was with Atlanta.
Yeah, I mean he's like a touchdown a week away from getting like 16 fantasy points. So he's been good without Michael Carter. But I don't know why he's playing the Saints this week, and then Michael Carter should come back week 15. So
yeah, I don't like it either. I wouldn't pick up Tevin Coleman. I don't like any of the Jets running backs. Like Carter is the only guy that I would be like okay with.
I would consider picking him up just in case Michael Carter, like the Jets are so bad that let's say he's still hurt when should be back from IR and they just shut him down for the year. If that's the case, I'd pick him up because he's got the Jaguars in week 16, the Dolphins in week 15. Those could be games where he gets like 9-10 points and could be an okay flex, but don't put any budget on him, that's for sure.
The other guy is Rashad Penny, and I think this one's an interesting ad because I don't trust him at all to come into the starting lineup. But I will say he had 10 carries, 35 yards, which is kind of gross. And then he had 1 catch for 27 yards where he stiff armed like 2 people. And I was like, is that Rashad Penny?
He always has flashes. He's like, better than Adrian Peterson. People were saying to pick up Adrian Peterson. He's actually ahead of Penny on this list. Do you want to know? Because he has scored more fantasy points. Did you see Peterson's stats?
No. Was it like 1.6?
He had 11 carries for 16 yards and a touchdown.
Oh, poor Peterson. I think he was just trying to get that last touchdown.
Yeah, I think he can retire now.
Yeah, I'm like, see you later, Adrian.
Penny should. I mean, when Alex Collins comes back, they're going to do a full running back by committee, so it's kind of gross no matter what. But if Collins is out again next week, I'm going to expect the Seahawks to use more Penny because he was the better of the 2 running backs. Mm-hmm. And hopefully he gets like 15 to 20 touches. I want to see it.
Yeah, I want to see it too. We've been waiting for a little while, and there's no one else left. I mean, Collins blows. Peterson blows.
Yeah.
Like, you have this young running back. Well, not 25 years old at this point. But you have this running back that you drafted in the first round 3 years ago. Why don't you just give it a try? See what happens. But all this to say, I think it's a decent waiver pickup. I mean, if he starts going off, I don't think he will. And the Seahawks, by the way, I don't know if you're watching the 49ers Seahawks game. They turned the ball over 4 times, but they looked better. They looked decent. So I mean, got to clean those turnovers up. But they scored 30 points.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they can if they can start getting some things together there. I don't know if one of them was a defensive. I think it was a defensive touchdown, but anyway. But if the offense starts playing well and Penny starts getting workhorse like numbers, you got to go out and get this guy. Outside of that, is there any injured running backs that happened last week that are going to start this week? Because I totally forgot to talk about
Miles Sanders got hurt again.
Is he out?
But I don't think he's actually out. They have a bye week this week, so he re-injures the ankle that he hurt. Oh, which, by the way, dude, Miles Sanders gets 24. He got 27 touches, played decent. He had 5 yards of carry.
I told you this guy's going to be legit.
And at the goal line, they gave it to Kenneth Gainwell, and he scored the touchdown. So he had 15 fantasy points in half PPR, but he should have had 20 plus.
Stupid.
It's annoying.
Yeah, I don't know where Kenneth Gainwell came either because they activated Boston Scott and he's their second running back and didn't use him.
See, this is the problem. If Sanders actually does miss time, you don't know who to pick up because is it going to be Boston Scott or are they going to go back to Gainwell?
I think it's going to be Boston Scott. I
do too, but it's gross.
I mean, and then Jordan Howard too. You
don't want to pick up Rex Backhead.
I'm good on.
I had to pick him up in the home league. That's how bad it was because David Johnson was out too. So Burkhead had 20 touches and only had 6 fantasy points.
Yeah, the
injury. Oh no, he didn't. He only had 9 touches this week.
The injury for Sanders looked pretty bad too. So
yeah, I mean, I think it was the same ankle that he's been battling for 6 weeks. So all
right, let's move to the wide receiver position because that's gross. People keep talking about Parker. Any updates there?
Yeah, I don't know why he's available in still in 50% of leagues. If you look at his numbers this year, when he's played, he pretty much gets mostly around 10 points a week. He's just missed time. He is also on a bye week this week. So that's gonna kind of stink. But when he comes back, yeah, he's gonna get he's a good wide receiver 3. Or a flex player. I don't know why he's like I said, why he's available. He should be definitely rostered in leagues.
Yeah, I agree. You probably don't have any waiver budget left, but I like him. Kendrick Bourne is also another guy that I like. We are pre-recording this on Monday, so I don't know what his game on Monday Night Football looked like. But he has been seeing an increase in usage and target share and among other things. So he's running more routes, he's getting more snap percentage, and he's looking really good. So I don't know if New England's going to trot him out for more than 55% of snaps because they run the ball 50% of the time and they put their fake wide receiver tight end in to block. Nikhil Harry.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they're going to do with Kendrick Bourne, but if they are in a position where they have to pass the ball, I think Bourne is one of their featured weapons at this point. And, it's either him or Jacoby. So I think he should be rostered. I'm surprised he's not rostered in most leagues.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Another guy, maybe KJ Osborne. Adam Thielen left the game in the first quarter against the Lions, and he didn't practice in his estimated team practice on Monday. So we'll see how things go. If he misses any time,
KJ Osborne, sorry, forgive me.
Yeah, if Thielen misses any time, which it looks like he might miss a week.
I forgot about that. I like he.
KJ Osborne could be a decent pickup. He had 12 fantasy points with Thielen out, so don't expect a ton. But meanwhile, Justin Jefferson had 200 receiving yards, so I'm cool with that because I own him in 4 leagues.
Yeah. I also like Sterling Shepard really quickly.
Yeah, that's a good one if he ever plays.
If he ever plays again. He was an interesting player early in the season because he was probably the receiver to own for the Giants. And he was their most consistent guy. So if he comes back,
although would it worry you that Jake Fromm is probably the starter for the Giants next week?
Why? Because what's the guy they started this week?
Mike Glennon got a concussion, and Daniel Jones is battling a neck injury.
Let's go, Jake Fromm. Getting an opportunity. Take advantage, kid. New starting quarterback for the New York Giants.
Yeah, he's going to throw 4 picks.
100%. Let's jump in. You got any more wide receivers to talk about?
No, I think that's it.
Okay, tight ends really quickly. Conklin's been interesting. Maybe we should just hit the outro.
He's good, especially now with Thielen out.
Yeah.
But, he's kind of up or down.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Evan Engram has been consistently getting like 6 points a game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, hell, if you want to take a shot
he's like tight end 13 every week. So, I mean, hey.
And I was keeping an eye on Cole Kmet last week and the last couple weeks, and I haven't really looked at Kmet. And I'm pulling up his numbers.
I know Andy Dalton threw like 3 interceptions this week, so I don't know if Kmet did anything.
Okay, so since week 7, he's had 6, 6, 8, 2, 11, and 7 targets. So he's been getting a lot of targets.
Yeah, he's getting the targets. It's just
he didn't get the targets early in the season, but now he's starting to get a healthy share of targets.
Next year, I think we are a year early on the Kmet breakout. I think next year is breakout.
I got a little excited. So anyway, there are tight ends. Unless you want to talk about any particular tight end for a long amount of time, Rick.
No, I don't think we have to do that. Oh, well, I will quickly say Foster Moreau if Darren Waller misses significant time is a good pick.
Darren Waller's going to miss time?
Maybe he missed this past week. So.
Oh my. Yeah, I mean, if Waller misses more time, go get Foster Moreau. That's all right. Tomorrow we have Thursday Night Preview. We'll talk to you then, guys.
See ya.
Thank you for listening to the Fantasy Champions Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on iTunes and YouTube and follow us on Twitter @TheFFChamps.